Okay. Hello. If you don't know me, and you probably don't, my name is Jin. I am a post grad student, employee, full time, whatever. I have a bunch of hobbies that I like doing. I've started journaling. I make music and I make people laugh, or something like that. And I wanted to talk to you today about your car's extended warranty. I'm just kidding. I wanted to talk to, I guess, to myself really, but also you're hearing the conversation, whoever you are, about the stuff and the goals that I want to do for New Year's, because everybody knows, like everyone wants to like augment themselves, right? They want to improve themselves for the new year, but they don't really know how to do that. And so when it comes to resolutions and goals, a lot of people just sort of start out, oh, I'll do this every day, and then it falls off because you do it every day and you're not used to doing it every day, and you're having trouble getting used to that, right? I have a journal page in here that I wrote down about this. I started journaling last year. Because I just needed to get my thoughts down on things, and I realized like through this, and I realized since this past year, since 2024, I sort of journal only when I was sad and when I had girl problems, and sometimes those two things combined, and then sometimes they weren't, and sometimes I was angry or whatever, and it wasn't the most efficient way of journaling, but especially when you're starting out, I think it's better to get used to the way of doing it, and you slowly start to see all the things that actually help when you do it, right? My mom used to tell me to do all this stuff, and she would be like, she would say things like write down write down notes for sermons, or a bunch of other things. Like, honestly, I don't remember anymore. A lot of the stuff that I didn't do when I was younger, or take notes when you're in class, a lot of the stuff that I do now that I realize, oh, my mom was right. um, and I was just dumb back then. But we're all dumb as we're kids. I wanted to sort of make this an accountability video from me, specifically. And maybe for you too, maybe you have goals that you want to do. You can tell me below if you want it, but I'm going to tell you what I have. I wrote down 3 big ones, and then I realized I had a way more goals than I thought I wanted to. But I'm going to focus on the big 3, right? I wrote in my first paragraph, the inkling has been in my head to set some goals for 2025, cliche as it sounds. However, extending past the wave of New Year's resolutions, there has been a grave... Uh, However, extending past the wave of New Year resolutions, there's been a growing need in my life to regain my time and my actions. The things I wish to do and used to do lie before me. Here comes the list. My coworker likes to set themes instead of goals, and sort of everything just revolves around that theme. They wanted to do fun. For me, a lot of the things that I set this year are more along the lines of purpose, because I do so many things out of my own impulse. Like, I will open the drawer and eat 5 cookies just because I wanted to. I will start doom scrolling because I was bored and I felt like doing something, right? I feel that a lot of the things that I do should be more meaningful and should be more purposeful. So here are the big 3 that I wrote down. The first one is books. I got an e-reader. I don't have it with me right now, but I got an e-reader, little e-reader, like a phone-sized one, and I read an Agatha Christie novel on it. It was The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and it was really, really interesting. And I realized just how much I actually liked reading. So much that I like took down notes and characters, and I wrote a little essay on why the main guy was a synth or whatever. He fumbled so many interactions. Anyways, reading hasn't been a thing in my life for a little bit now. And I read webtoons, but comics don't really count as reading. It's very rare that a comic actually makes you think, so I don't count it as reading. It's more of just consuming and things of the sort. I said if I were able to read at least 12 books a year, so a book a month, which is pretty manageable, I would say, that would be so great. Right? I would say, oh, I read 12 books and these are my favorites. I'm reading through Fahrenheit 451 right now, and it's a really good book. I'm not going to count that into the goal of 12 for New Year's because these are books that I want to start in 2025 and finish in 2025. But when I tally up however many books I read, Fahrenheit 451 will be part of it because I finished that this year. That's what it is for books. The next thing I had was fitness. A couple years ago, I didn't look like this. I used to be a gumdrop. My body just sagged and my hair was as long as, well, it's kind of long now, but it was like all the way up to my neck and it wasn't great. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. And then in summer 2021, my mom said, you should make a personal project of your own to lose some of this weight. And so I did. I started exercising, I started running. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even watch. I didn't count calories or anything. I just knew that I had to lose it. And I went into this semi-frenzied state where I was like, okay, I gotta run. I just gotta keep exercise, gotta keep moving, and eventually I'll see some progress. And I did. I lost like 30 pounds. I went from 180 to 150. And now since then, I've gained around 10 pounds. So I'm close to 160. I'm like 159. I haven't really watched what I've eaten, and I haven't really felt the motivation to be exercising, but I want to start that back up again because it was something I achieved, right? It wasn't something that just naturally came about. It was something that I wanted to work for, and that did work for. So I have a skeleton of a routine here, and I think the skeleton is what I'll stick with for now. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'll have an actual workout routine. And for Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be doing a short run, or maybe a long run. It depends on whatever. But I've worked then, so I'm gonna do like short runs, maybe like a half mile and a half, which is around I think 3 kilometers or so. But as long as I get consistent at that, right? Because right now when I run, I get out of breath and I feel like that's all the exercise I've done. But people run and then they work out, so I kind of want to get into that routine of things. My brother works out more than I do because he's a little more disciplined than I am, and he likes being athletic. I asked him why he worked out once, and he told me his purpose. I'm not going to share it because it seemed like it was a little more personal to him. But it was a really compelling purpose, and I have to find that. Maybe I'll find that as I do this, right? Right now, my purpose is really just take care of the body that God has given me, right? It's like if God gave you a house and said, I'll be coming back every once in a while to check it, then you kind of want to make the house as clean as possible, maybe even improve it a little bit, right? Because it's God. It's my God wants to live with me. The last thing that I wrote down here was music and videos, and basically anything creative at all. So this is why I'm also talking to the video right now, because I want to sort of start on that project, on that routine of doing things. If you've never seen me before and you don't know who I am, I love music. I released this little lo-fi EP back in February 2023, and I did another single with my a cappella group, and it's all just instrumental music, so lo-fi, instrumental, ambient music, whatever. And I have had a big passion for making videos, and it's risen and it's fallen, but I've always liked making videos, and I've always thought about making videos. It's because back then, my crush, I liked this girl at 11, and then when I turned 14, I realized she was making YouTube videos with her friend, and I was just sort of, I want to make YouTube videos now. It's been over 10 years, so I don't have that same crush on her anymore, but the idea of making videos just stuck with me for whatever reason. Maybe it was something I wanted to do, who knows. But I've always wanted to make videos. And I've always wanted to make videos, and I've always wanted to do vlogs and edit and things like that. Maybe not full-time professionally, but at least I want to make something that people want to watch and want to come back to watch again and again and again and again. So music and videos, those are my two things. Additionally, I'm playing for my friend's wedding, and I've never done that before because I play piano. So this is part of it, right? Today's January 3rd. I want to get a list of songs to play ready by next week. So within next week. And just gonna practice. I'm gonna get this music for it. I'm just gonna practice that. And I'm also working on projects and things, right? So I have music projects, I have video projects like these where I have to edit them. I don't think those should take more than 2 weeks each. Because when I get an idea and I actually sit down to think about it, it takes me like half an hour to think of all the stuff that should be in it. So if I have the half hour of creating and then maybe the other hour or two of actually editing and refining it, if I spread it out over a little bit every single day, songs shouldn't take more than 2 weeks. Like half of my EP last time was done in 2 weeks because my coworker who also does music was like, you know what? Stop dawdling and I want to see this done in 2 weeks. And that actually gave me the push to do it. There's a certain feeling of dopamine or serotonin or whatever that you get when you create. But that feeling doesn't always last because if you want to create good stuff, a lot of it's going to be boring. So if you got to get through the boring part and you got to get through the hard part of it in order to achieve all the easy parts in order to achieve all the parts that you wanted to feel happy from. Okay, I thought somebody walked through the door. So those are the big 3 goals. It's books, it's exercising and being fit, and it's being creative. It's with my music and my videos. And then a couple of the other ones in here is obviously my Bible. I've been reading my Bible consistently, so it hasn't been too much of a big deal, but I want to dedicate more time to my Bible and to devotion. I keep a notebook with my Bible where if I read a chapter, I have to write down at least a summary of that chapter or what I got from it or if there are any verses that stuck out to me. And that's just better. That's how I actually study and retain information, right? Because if you read something and you don't do anything with it, then out it goes. It's like a dream. Like, did I read that, you know? So that's what I'm doing now. Journaling, I kind of want to do more. Maybe at least 2 entries a week, not about your girl problems. I still have girl problems, but my thoughts are so much more than just girls and crushes and things. So, for instance, I had a whole thing about gifts and giving gifts that I forgot to write down and I have to think of it all over again. I don't want that to happen. So, I don't know how long this video will be. It doesn't matter. But if you see this, just know that I'm going to be doing this and expect an update for me maybe in June or July or something, and then an update at the end of the year. Or what if I split my year into quarters? That sounds way too much like work. I'm gonna do half year update and an end of year update, and then you'll see everything in between. Hopefully, so if everything goes according to plan, you'll see more than just updates. So if I ever get to editing any of the stuff I'm editing, I'm really excited to see what will happen this year. A lot of this is going to be relying on God to help me through the times when I can't help myself. And a lot of times I can't. I will see you next time. Okay, bye.